Mirror, mirror on the wall, who has the smallest pupils of them all? Paul is back, and he has helped Ash Ketchum master 3 powerful new moves for the Masters 8 tournament. So let's talk about it. Hey everyone, it's Charles. How are you today? I really do miss the days when Ash was antagonized by rivals who were mean, nasty, always had the upper hand, and most importantly, forced Ash to grow and become a stronger version of himself. And it was Paul who perfected the Pokemon anime's jerk rival archetype in the Diamond and Pearl saga, and now he is back to help prep Ash for the biggest tournament of his career. Today's plan is to break down Big Papa Paul's return in Pokemon Journeys episode 114, and the valuable takeaways that will assist Ash in the Masters 8. It will be a shorter, more focused episode review than usual as I have a waffle stack of family obligations this weekend. But speaking of family, be sure to subscribe to join the family. Welcome to the family, and let's jump right in. 114 kicks off with Ash training his Journey squad in the Cerise Institute Biodome when Professor Oak calls, and Ash has the realization that he would do well to have his current roster train with the golden oldies over at Professor Oak's lab. And the reunion at the lab did not disappoint. We saw so many of Ash's old Pokemon doing what you would expect them to do and acting as you would expect them to act, not just for a few seconds at the beginning of the episode, but all throughout the episode. Precious Bayleaf tackles Ash affectionately, Pikachu and Charizard had a proper reunion, the writers remembered that Torkoal exists, etc. The main thrust of the episode is thrust into motion when Gengar touches the scorching hot monkey and gets blasted off into the forest, where it runs into a familiar Electivire shadowed by the man himself, Paul. This triggers a scene of epic callbacks to the Diamond and Pearl saga of the anime, wherein Ash turns up with his crew of fire Pokemon and introduces Paul to Go as his rival. Infernape and Paul exchange a glance full of history and feelings. The narrator summarizes the entire Paul, Infernape, Ash storyline, and Paul criticizes Ash for not keeping tabs on Gengar's condition, seeming to indicate that Ash had indeed rubbed off on him back in Sinnoh. The returning character cameos in Pokemon Journeys have ranged from magnificent to middling, but Paul's comeback ticked off all of the boxes of a good character return. The fan service was on point, we saw his growth as a character, and he impacts the course of the Journey's storyline. Something we'll explain momentarily, but first I just wanted to have a good chuckle at everyone in the comments who thought I was a goofy boofy for suggesting that Ash's Gengar would learn Will-O-Wisp while training with Ash's Fire-type Pokemon. Guess what? While Ash is busy chatting with Paul, Gengar learns Will-O-Wisp while training with Ash's Fire-type Pokemon. Now that I've had my petty internet moment, let's continue. Paul explains to Ash why he did not bother participating in the World Coronation series, but Ash challenges him to a battle and Paul accepts on 3 conditions. It's a 3v3 with no switches, and Ash can only use Pokemon on his Masters 8 roster. Interesting conditions, Paul. I wonder why you chose those conditions, and if you came to Professor Oak's lab for a reason. The opening round pitted Ash's Lucario against Paul's Gyarados, and just when it looks like Lucario is going to bite the biscuit, the Journey's Golden Boy learns Bullet Punch to pound Gyarados into fish cakes. Next up is Ash's Dragonite versus Paul's Garchomp. What begins as a close quarters Dragon Claw melee pans out into an all-out Draco Meteor dogfight, or dragon fight, during which Ash has Dragonite use Draco Meteor while rushing in to create a brand new projectile blanketed melee attack. Ultimately, Dragonite takes the L, but the new combination is interesting, and I'm sure we'll see more of it in the Masters 8. Lastly, Ash's Gengar takes on Paul's Metagross, who proceeds to powder Gengar up like a baby's bottom until Ash calls on Gengar to show off the slick ditty that he just learned from the boys. And Will-O-Wisp is a hit, softening Metagross up for a match-ending Shadow Ball that locks down the victory for Team Ketchum. The episode finishes as strongly as it started, with Go asking Paul if it really was a coincidence that he was using the aces of 3 Masters 8 trainers who Ash could end up battling against. To which Paul simply smiles, bids farewell to Infernape, and walks off into the forest. Paul came back to give Ash a boost because he's a friend after all, and as Professor Oak explains, soon to become a gym leader. Wholesome nostalgia, an excellent character cameo, 3 powerful new moves for Team Ketchum, and the best tournament prep you could ask for. Pokemon Journeys episode 114 went down like a glass of freshly squeezed cat milk. And the Masters 8 tournament we have all been waiting for begins in less than a week. So, are you stoked?